Okay, here we go. Section 5.3. Number 10 and number 18, let me give you a second. You're just basically grading the final solution. In number 10, I don't think they specifically said to get y by itself, but if you did go ahead and go one step further with a plus or minus square root, you would have been okay, as long as you left the plus c inside. As long as you left the plus c inside the square root. If you pulled it out, you'd be wrong. But as long as you left the plus c inside, you could have plus or minus square rooted both sides. Number 18, you could definitely get y by itself, and they did, which was helpful. After plugging and chugging, you guys can see the particular solution.
For number 10, can I cancel pi out?
No.
No.
Yeah. Good question, though. Some people would have. You're right. You're not the only one that thought maybe you could have done that. You guys got number 18's final solution? Remember, if you ever have anything wrong, you need to mark down the right answer first, because I don't always give time to check every single step. Number 78. Is that the only other even? I think I did that on purpose, huh? I wanted you guys to be able to check. Number 78, let me give you a second. The final answer should be B, if you want to check out the work.
Thanks for the saves. This is ours.
All right, kiddos, do we have any questions on odds on the homework? Okay, which one? 29 or 39? 29, 35. Anything else? Charlotte, did you care about 35? All of it or just A? Okay, well, we'll just, all right. Okay, so for 29 and 35, sadly, my online book is still not working and our tech people have still not fixed it. So let's go ahead and get into our notes, and I'll just have you guys read off what those problems are, and hopefully we'll be able to do what we can. So number 29 on homework. Charlotte, what's given to you in number 29? Yeah, no, I hear you, but is there anything given, like a function, a differential equation? They had to give you something, though. Okay, let me just open up the book. I know you guys are probably saying that you struggled with this because they didn't give you very much information. But for some reason, all I'm hearing from you guys are directions and no problem. So this is section 5.3, number 29. Oh, okay, so there was more after the tangent. Okay. So the directions are to find f, given the clues that the tangent line at xy intersects at x plus 2. Okay, that was our clue right there. X plus 2, 0. Tangent did it say what it intersects? Intersects what?
X-axis.
Oh, okay. X-axis is just when y equals 0, so I guess that makes sense, huh? Tangent line intersects at x plus 2.
The way of solving that I saw is that they found the derivative or slope. They're doing y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.
Tangent means this is the point of tangency. This is the point at which dy dx is equal to m. That's a tangent line. The derivative is the slope. So, not of a point, but yes, I mean kind of. Remember, derivative is the slope at one point, so I suppose. But since they said the tangent line, then I could think about linear slope. Linear slope, I could take the slope between 2 points. So I would have y2 minus y1. Oh, that looks yucky. I'll do y2 minus y1, so y minus 0, over x2 minus x1, so x minus x plus 2. I could set that equal to my derivative. So since I have a line has a slope that can be found from rise over run, or y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Whoever's humming just needs to stop. So y minus 0 over x minus x plus 2, we end up with m. Well, I don't think I need to write m anymore. The point is that dy dx is equal to y over negative 2, right? Because x minus x will cancel. So if I want to find f, couldn't we think about this as y equals f of x? If they want us to find y equals f of x, what does that mean, guys? I need to integrate, but can I integrate as is? No. So we need to go ahead and rearrange. How would you guys legally rearrange? You could do that. You could divide by y and multiply by dx. At which point, I'm going to go pretty quickly now. I think the hard part on this one was setting it up, yeah? Remember our little trick? The c can become a multiplication in front, right? Is that okay? We're okay with that one? Exponential growth decay. E to the c is c. And then the plus or minus can kind of get absorbed in c. I was seeing if they gave us any particular points, but they didn't, huh? We just know the formula. So that would be the general equation. We could go ahead and try to plug in, because they did give us this equation. We could try to go ahead and plug in. Ooh, but here's the dilemma. Where is my function? Is my function guaranteed to be at xy or guaranteed to be at x plus 2, 0? This is the point of tangency. This is the point that skims the function. So my function is guaranteed to be at xy. My function is not at x plus 2, 0 necessarily. So imagine if I had some sort of like parabola, and I'm talking about the tangent line. This would be my xy. But the point where it hits the x-axis somewhere else would be my x plus 2, 0. Does that make sense? So tangency at, that was the point of tangency. The place where it hits the x-axis would be somewhere else on the line. So we were able to do rise over run for the slope. That was okay up here. But we can't say this is the function, so we can't even plug that one in. It's not a clue for the function. Is this. Yeah. Which I made up a function. This one's exponential, and it's with a negative, so it's going to actually end up looking like that. But it's the same idea as far as hitting and then hitting somewhere else. Yeah. Okay. Let me get rid of this picture, though, because that picture is not for this problem. It was just kind of the idea of what's going on. Okay. Good question. That was tricky to even know how to set up. Good thing is tomorrow, kiddos, you're not going to have any problems that are that hidden. Does that make sense? That was a very hidden problem, even to get to what you were supposed to do. What was number 35? Okay, so that's what letter A said. I want you guys to go ahead and where you have A written, go ahead and put a cross through it. We did not cover Euler's method. It's actually pronounced O-I-L-E-R-S, Euler's. I know it looks like Euler's. Yeah, no, we didn't cover it because it's not in Calculus AB. It's a Calculus BC topic. So it's in our book, and it is a calculus topic, but we don't have to learn it. Praise the Lord. But what did I want you to do in 35? What can you do? Because B says find the solution. Is it general or particular? They give us a point? Okay, particular. So what's our differential equation? Just to practice it together, because some of you got stuck on A, let's just get it done, yeah? So dy dx is equal to? Okay.
Value meant to compare it to Euler's.
Oh, but letter A. Okay. Yeah. Don't worry about the rest. Can you guys just, if you haven't done letter B yet, can you take a second and rearrange? When it's rearranged properly, you start off already wrong. Does that make sense? So how would you rearrange? Let me just give you a second. And if you're like, I already did B, cool. How about you review and be playing with the practice multiple choice? Hopefully you guys are already solving. I'm just going to make sure that you rearranged correctly, yeah? How'd the rearranging go? We're all right? Good. How'd you guys do? Doing all right? Good. All right, those were the only two questions that you guys posed to me, and for very good reason. 29 was hidden, and 35A is something that we didn't learn, we're not going to learn, you don't need to learn. So good job on the questions. If anybody did not pick up a new stamp sheet, super random while I'm over here, there are new ones for the months of March and April. Why not May? The AP exam is happening then at that point. It's kind of every man for himself, not in the sense of I won't be supporting you, but in the sense that I'm not going to be forcing you to necessarily still be doing 0 periods. Okay, cool kids. With that, don't we also have book review questions? Okay, some of you were able to get into that, and some of you weren't able to get into that. We are in our homework spirals right now. For those of you that weren't able to write it down, I think I had it on the screen for a second yesterday, but let me pull it up really quickly. I am going to see if anyone has questions on that review, and I can talk through some of them. Because of some of our kids that are gone today, they wouldn't be able to ask me the questions, whether in periods 1 or in period 6, if the document comes up sometime today. Huh. It's coming. The little thinking wheel came up for a second. Still up. Meanwhile, as you guys are looking at that, I think I also have in your handouts folder, I believe I have the practice test too, or the practice multiple choice. Kiddos, if I were you right now in the practice multiple choice, okay, shh. We have that out, right guys? Ooh, do I not have that up? I don't have that up, do I? Okay, let me freeze the screen so you guys can see the test review. And as I have you guys write down the test review, anyone watching the video, go ahead and pause it because I'm going to pause and redirect a little bit on the screen. Okay, everybody else, I'm freezing the projector so you can see. Let me go find the practice multiple choice. Because it'd be helpful to have some answers to that, yeah? Yeah. Now I have your Chapter 5 practice test and its key on your handouts assignments folder. The Chapter 5 practice test, I have it up and ready if any of you guys are stuck. I know that Charlotte has a question already and maybe someone else already has a question too. I did tell you that I'm missing the back side of the back side. Are you okay, Zach? Okay. All right, let me know if something's wrong, okay? Sorry, bud. Looks like your head hurts or something. Do you guys hit each other's heads? No? Okay. Looks like he hit his head on something. Okay. Hang in there. 1 through 8 is what's on, I think, on the front side of your worksheet, right? I just mentioned that there were other problems for the back side, and there were, but actually I think we saw these problems in Chapter 4B. Because they were just solving integrals as is using arctangent. So I think we've already seen these ones. So don't really worry about the second page that you guys don't even have. It's not a big deal, I don't think. The main ones are the 1 through 8 right here that you see. So we'll go over questions to that in a second. But if you notice, I did also load a Chapter 5 practice test key with both the answers and my work. Kind of nice? Okay, with the answers and my work, so they're up there to see. I know that you guys have the test review also, so I don't know who started what, but if anyone has any particular questions, now's the time. Yeah.
On page 42.
Okay. Question number 19. Charlotte, I know that you're on the practice test number 1, right? Okay. All right, guys, I'll start with those two. Feel free to be working on whatever you want to work on. Let's peek at 5.3, number 19. Can I have you guys... Just really quickly before I totally just transition and let you do whatever. How many of you guys have started the book? How many of you guys have started the practice test multiple choice besides what just happened today? Okay. How does your guys' week look? Meaning, is today, or not today, is tomorrow a much better day for a calc test than Friday? Who has tests on Friday? Either is fine.
Same here.
I've heard lots of kids that got behind on homework for some reason this chapter. Granted, it was their own procrastination, but still. Then we have the ASB kids that are gone for class today. We have you guys having barely started either review. So my idea is to make, they're both due on the day of the test, yes. So my idea is to have homework tonight, get as much review done as possible, and come with questions tomorrow, and then test on Friday. If you're like, I can do that, raise your hand. If you're strongly opposed, raise your hand. Okay, can someone text both Sarah and Sean and tell them test is on Friday? Okay, and David. Does anybody have David's number? Thanks, Austin. Oh, either way. Yeah, you just do a group chat with them on if you want. Okay, so text David and Sean and Sarah. Tell them test on Friday. Tomorrow's a work day. work hard on reviewing tonight. Does that sound good? Okay. Okay, so then the pressure's a little bit off, both you and me, because I know that a lot of you probably were wanting to rush in today and try to, anyway, and a lot of you couldn't rush in today and ask me lots of questions. So this way tonight we can work hard on reviewing and not having to focus for a test tomorrow, okay? So work hard on reviewing, come tomorrow with questions. That's what I was expecting today, and for some reason we got like a day behind in doing homework. So work on reviews tonight, either one, come in tomorrow with questions. With that, let me give a couple pointers on the, I know Charlotte and then An both got stuck on something, and then we'll pretty much be done for today and you guys can work. Sound good? Okay. So I'm starting on the number 19 on page 402. And it's going to be on the recorder, so if you're not even there yet, maybe you're like, oh, hey, I remember she went over that question. So you could go ahead and check it out on the video if you want later if you're not ready for it. But number 19, page 402, the review, gives us an interesting differential equation. Does not give us a point, so it's a general solution, right? Not a particular one? So kiddos, let's just work together, because An was saying this one's tricky, and it definitely looks tricky. Let's work together to rearrange. How do I hint that you should start? That's not how I usually start. Yeah. Yeah. I would say start with dy dx. Because normally, don't we just multiply dx on the other side? But is it going to be nice to multiply right now? I have to multiply this and this and this? What might be easier before we multiply by dx? Yeah, I get the xy on the other side. So maybe the first step would be to try to get the dy dx term alone. Now say, okay, it feels a little more normal. Now go ahead and multiply your dx on the other side. And now say, okay, that's my y side, that's my x side. So now how am I going to go ahead and rearrange stuff? Yeah, I could divide by 2 plus x. Divide by y. So I'm going to have 1 over y here, and I have 1 over 2 plus x over here. Does that make sense? So we're dividing by y to get it on that side with the dy, dividing the 2 plus x to get it over on this side with the dx, and then we have to say, what do we have left? We have 1 over y dy equals, careful, x over 2 plus x dx. Is it legal now to integrate? Yeah. Now when I integrate, one of them's easy and one of them's hard. Who's who? ln of y. Mental math? No. What do you need? U sub. So what must u be? What do you guys think? Okay. We could actually, since the degrees are tied, we could divide first. It's an improper fraction technically. But x and realize pretty quickly that we're going to have an extra x. So we're going to come back up and solve for x. Integration on crack, yeah. Then we're going to go ahead and plug in u minus 2 all over u du. What do I do? Hart method. Yeah. Divide, divide. It'd be the same thing that would happen if you guys did the improper division. If you had done 2 plus x into x, hopefully you would have rewritten it like this. X into x is 1. You would have subtracted and gotten negative 2 as your remainder. So you would have written it 1 minus 2 over x plus 2. If you notice, that's the exact same thing you get right here. 1 minus 2 over u. Either way, you get the same thing. Or the same solution to the integration, at least. So you would end up on this one with u minus 2 ln of u plus c.
Why can you just do, like, because obviously 1 over u is just ln of u, or absolute value. Why can't you just do 2?
Because remember, 2 is just a coefficient, so if I was to rewrite this, I would rewrite this as the integral of 1 du minus 2 times the integral of 1 over u du. Does that make sense? 2 is just a coefficient. You could make it 2 times 1, and 1 over u is what I'm integrating. Yes, then I just go ahead and plug in. I get x plus 2 minus 2 ln of x plus 2. Now, guys, here's a leap that might be a little crazy for you. Why am I going to rewrite this as x minus 2? Well, what changed? A couple things did. Good. 2 and c's are both constants, and then this can come up as a power. Does that make sense? What would be left to do to get y by itself? E to both sides. Now, is this going to be as nice? No, look at all the nastiness in e. But can't I still do my, take away the absolute value because e to the c will be c? Just e is going to have a lot of yucky stuff. X minus ln of x plus 2 quantity squared. There are ways of simplifying that. I don't know if the book necessarily makes you simplify. But subtraction of exponents technically can be division. So you could actually do something like this. Yeah, because e and ln, if I can get them next to each other, they cancel out. So subtraction of exponents is really division of like bases. So you could have actually done something, or could have rewritten it like this. C e to the x all over x plus 2 squared. That sure sounds like an AP multiple choice, right? But maybe they would have stopped there. I kind of doubt it, because you see e and ln. It's like, oh, if I could just get them together, and you can, sadly. So then you can go ahead and simplify. Whew, good question, On. That was a bit of a party. But do you at least understand, because maybe some of you could or would have made mistakes, but a couple key things. You had to rearrange it first to even make it legal to go. And then number 2, you had to do u sub for that second integral. Write it out. You might not see exactly where you're going, but just see where you can get. By doing your u sub, you would have had an extra x. Don't do something illegal. Remember, we have to get everything in terms of u, so go get x in terms of u, plug and chug, either divide or heart method, and then go from there. Now, Charlotte had a question on the practice multiple choice, the first one. Radioactive element. This sounds right away like section 5.2, right, guys? Section 5.2, number 1. Half-life, that means exponential decay. Exponential decay, I can say y is equal to c e to the negative kt. Half-life is percentage remaining, 1/2, equals e to the negative k times 50 days. I can solve for k by taking the ratio, remember, y over y sub naught, or y over c. The percentage remaining, you divide and say, oh, the ratio is 1/2. Doesn't even matter. I don't care who that or that is. 1/2 must be e to the negative k times 50. Then you can solve pretty quickly for k using ln. You have negative 1 over 50 ln of 1/2. Or my chem people, if you have this memorized, it would be 1 over 50 ln of 2, because you could bring that negative up as a power if you wanted to. You don't have to, but you could. But then it's what percentage of the original, ooh, wait, percentage remaining, right? Percentage remaining, I'm just going to do my y over y sub naught. I'm just going to plug in e to the negative k, which I know, times 60. Experience. Because 50 days is 60 days, you're like, it can't be down to 25%. That doesn't make sense, right? Take another 50 days to be cut in half again.
0.44 or whatever is no change for a fifth of that.
But do we know how to solve, though, if we needed to? Because technically it could be none of these, and the decimals could be somewhere in between. So, I mean, you could educated guess it, or you could just, right, solve, plug in K, and then there you go, percentage remaining. Yeah. You can do -1/50 ln 1/2. This is totally fine. You can plug in, but the negative can also turn into a power. Yeah, only for the number inside. So that's why ln of 2. This stays the same. You could make this a power, but then it starts to get yucky. Yeah. What'd you say, Tyler? Not on the AP. But remember this too. But this would be one where they didn't give you any calculus to do. Does that make sense? So on the AP, they wouldn't have the differential equation be something where you jump all the calculus and get here. It'd be a differential equation that's a little bit more complicated, so you'd actually have to show integration to get what you need. That makes sense a little bit. But on the test, I will throw some exponential growth and decay in. This one is just tricky because percentage remaining. So should you study the yellow box? Yes. Make it a forever? No. No, no, no. Guys, are you cool with like 8 minutes to work? Let me know if you individually have any questions. Austin, did it match something? Were you plugging in?
I was trying to. I thought it aired like this.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I want you guys to focus on studying. Yeah. Yeah.
Number 3 is not mentioned. I got it. Because it's
Wait, for number 1 or number 3?
Number 1 is C, but it doesn't match.
Okay.
No, it is.
Number 3, it's all about the simplifying.
yeah, but I got like 6 answers.
I think it's E. Is it not
I
E?
put E for number 3 too.
It's definitely not going to be A because they love factoring out. So I'm guessing this is a little bit off from what you have, and they had to factor things out. Remember, common denominators. If it's a 5 and a 3, make it 15ths and pull out the 15th. If it's 5 halves and 3 halves, like I'm guessing just something a little bit is different. If these are the true powers, pull out a 3 halves. Take what's left and simplify. I'll go ahead and play with it on the board. I'll play with it on the board. You guys keep playing on something else. I'll play with it on the board. But as I do, play with something else. Simplifying is key.
Yeah, but I was still. Well, I was getting something similar to A, but I was getting the 2 fixed.
But struggle through. Make it 15ths. Pull it out. There are tons of studies that have been done that you have answers too quickly at your fingertips, and so you're not truly learning as deeply as you should because you don't struggle through when you get confused. Think when you read a passage, that's tricky in English. Think when you come to a concept that's tricky in science. Go find a Khan Academy video, right? Think when you get a problem that's tricky in math. Go to Slater and see what solution they say you should have. We're not learning how to learn and struggle. Tyler, go ahead.
Is this like a legal way to solve that problem?
Number
the
3.
Half-life one? Because 100 is like the original amount, and instead of, you would multiply if it was increasing, but divide it by, and it's doubled like 60 over 50 times. Because that's getting 43.53.
I think it's doing the legal math. You're thinking of percentage, you're thinking of a rate of change, like the
Well,
K.
yeah, but-
Like it's a different interpretation.
Was that the right answer? C?
Yeah. Yeah. There was just one little thing they changed on letter A, wasn't there? Did they make it 1/3 instead of 2/3? 1/3 is not right, not even close, yeah? I don't mind us singing, but get a little bit of work done, Zach. Makes tonight's homework better, right? You guys heard me say get 15ths, right? So aren't I multiplying by 3/3? And aren't I multiplying by 5/5? Don't forget the minus. The answer key is online, but that's exactly what you needed to do. See what's left when you factor out and then simplify the inside. The whole point when you pull out is that you can simplify this down. Check your steps, check your work. Carefully factor out and see what remains. You guys got this. This is chapter 4B. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and if you guys come up with any other questions,